Hello. Sound check here at the top. I forgot. I got the bell. Actually, we can sound check the bell. There you go. Welcome. Hopefully you can hear that. Hello to everybody. All right. We're a little bit early. We're not at our normal start time, which is 15 minutes past the hour. I know that's weird, but yeah. So, welcome to Mantra Week. A little bit of spur of the moment coordination with Jeff. I don't know. So here so I have these funny moments where so Jeff was talking about Yogani, I guess, or Yogan. I think Yogani. I think that's the name. And I was like, oh, why do I know that name? And then why do I know advanced yoga practices? And I know why, because I found this book on my shelf. I was like, wait a minute. So as a thank you for moderating and everything, Jeff and Lily did this like thing where they got me a bunch of really cool books that a seeker would have. And so Yogani was one of the books, and I read I think the first maybe 10 or no, I must have. My bookmark says the first 48 lessons. And some of those were online. So this was that link that was online. So Jeff was talking about mantra practice. For those that get the newsletter reminder thing that I send out, I kind of cringed a bit because I was going to edit it again and I just sent it. If you want to get that reminder, you can send an email to that email address and I'll add you to the list. But mantra practice was the thing that everybody wanted to know more about when I got to be a mindfulness coach. And I was like, I just spent the last 6 months becoming a mindfulness coach. Can I convince you that mindfulness is interesting? So yeah. But as a prompting of this coming up and everything, I went ahead and learned more about mantra for some of the reasons that I shared in the email. So I did two, or I have done on this channel, 2 Star Wars inspired versions of mantra with mantra as phrase. So a lot of times mantra for a lot of people is root syllable. So that's what Jeff was talking about on Sunday. So rewind back to Do Nothing Project on Sunday. And or you can use simple words. And so what we're going to do, this is Ruth won't be here, but this is inspired by Ruth. So sorry to hear about the tendonitis, Saban. I can 100,000% relate. Typing is a thing that I end up typing and doing too much of as part of my my day gig. Oh, we're 3 minutes into this, and I forgot to say who I am. I'm Andrew. I'm a certified mindfulness meditation coach by trade and training. I'm a software engineer, and most people will know me from the Do Nothing Project as a moderator and sometimes guest host. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to that. So back to the mantra. So I had put out there somewhere in the reminder emails, I said, if you have an idea for a theme for Wednesdays, pitch it. And so Ruth did. It was do something related to dudism. And I think I've showed this before. Let's see, but I am a certified, or I'm an ordained minister. I have an identification card and everything. It's Dudist priest, Dudism being the Church of the Latter-day Dude, the Gospel according to Lebowski. And so I was like, oh yeah, we should totally do something like that. And there's a number of different ways we could go. There's a number of different ways and there's more things we will be able to explore. But I thought, hey, that sounds good. So let's do that. Abide. Maybe it's clunky as a phrase, but we're gonna work with, or you're gonna work with whatever you want to work with. You choose, but we're gonna work with abide. We could also work with far out. Something that is positive is what I would suggest. Avoid things that are like don't something, because I don't think those are. It would be better to have some sort of positive valence to whatever you've got as your mantra, and that's maybe backed on some questionable neuroscience, but abide and far out are the two that I will offer. You are welcome to do what fits, and then I'm going to put this in here just because it was what we shared before. Define abide. Okay, that is abide means to rest or dwell, I think is what I had thought, but abide means to accept or act in accordance with. So that's the number one definition. It's a verb. And I was gonna say, Paul, thank you. Paul beat me to it. That is abide and abiding with equanimity. So the number one definition is that. The second one I'm not super excited about, but I think this helps us with a little bit of the equanimity pause. And so that's the first definition. Looking it up is accept or act in accordance with a rule, decision, or recommendation. Be able to tolerate someone or something. So I don't like the tolerate thing. So maybe we can have a third one, which is to exhibit equanimity. So we'll offer that as our definition. Our working, operating definition for the night is to exhibit equanimity. And I use to dwell or be with in the notion that the dude, or El Duderino, if you like, says the dude abides. So I think of that as like the dude, but what does the dude have to say? So I think it'd be great if I could dial up Jeff Bridges right now and ask Jeff Bridges. That would be amazing. But that's a question that I can't answer. What would the dude say? I think he would be okay with the equanimity definition. That's what I'm thinking. So, all right, I want to hit my marks here. So we're a minute behind, so I was a little sloppy on that. But welcome to Gabrielle and Brooke. And then I didn't say hi to everybody, but hi, everybody, especially Fred, who was super generous with his time. And welcome back, Maureen. Hello to Brian and Marjorie and Mike G. And Saban, sorry about the tinnitus again. Hello to Cheryl. And who did I miss? And a big hello to Brooke. Oh, so I have something to share about Brooke, but we'll do it after the meditation. How about that for a teaser? 25 minutes on the clock. I will invite a sonorous bell. And I hope that you enjoy it because I do. One trick to get me to stop talking is ring a bell. All right, so we'll begin as we always do. We're establishing our posture. Upright without being uptight is our operating mode or guiding ethic. And that's shoulders over the hips, feet arranged on the floor in a comfortable way, nose in line with the navel, ears over the shoulders. And I'm offering or focused on the seated posture in a chair or a cushion or a bench, but you could be standing, lying down, or walking. All are equally valid. And I trust you to adjust and alter for those postures. And just sort of sampling what's it like right now. Meditation in Tibetan is the word can mean getting used to it. So I always think about that. What am I getting used to at the moment? So what's already here? And you could be frazzled from a day or frustrated or exasperated. All of these things are welcome. We don't have to chase anything off, but just a head nod and an acknowledgement. And then a few deliberate breaths. Slow and low is the tempo that we're going for. Breathing in through the nose allows us to slow that breath down, sinking low into the belly. And as our inhale turns around and becomes the exhale, seeing if we can just slightly extend it. And allowing ourselves to be still and then move and return to stillness. So we're not forcing ourselves to be still. You'll notice I move around and then I'm aiming to return to stillness. So just letting those breaths settle us in a bit. So we can think of our mantra as a concentration practice. As always, we're training all three skills: concentration, clarity, and equanimity, CC&E. But you could say that we are leaning in to concentration and sort of maybe secondarily equanimity. So the notion would be, and depending on your circumstances, if you want to repeat the mantra out loud, if you can, you're in a place where you could experiment with that. I'll leave that up to you, but we'll begin with the silent mental repetition of a mantra. And I'll suggest what we refer to often with that is you can repeat that mentally in different ways, doing it with what we call equanimity voice. So equanimity voice is the kind of in between neither push nor pull. Again, so I'm offering abide as the one word. Finding a tone and a pace that is pleasing allows you to really soak all of your attention into the repetition of that. So that could be abide, drawing it out, or it could be abide, 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 abide. The faster pace may make you feel a bit more agitated. So finding something that matches the way that we'd like to show up for this sit. So again, you can choose your word, your sound. So abide is what I'll focus on. Far out is another one. That's a dude phrase. And if you want to drop those and maybe just focus on the equanimity, maybe equanimity is a little clunky, but maybe vitamin E or just E. Playing with those. Again, your sit, your experimentation. So again, we're soaking all of our attention in on the mental repetition of that word. And that is our focus object. And our instruction is to find a pace and a tone that is pleasing. And if it helps to think about the repetition of the voice, it's almost like striking a bell. So like abide, like that's almost like feels like you've struck a bell. You can play with that as well. But I've given you a lot of things to play with, so I'm going to let you explore, and then I'll check in here in a bit. But I'll give you a lengthy time to get used to your mantra. And so as you're repeating your mantra, again, just trying to find that some paces might feel awkward. Just finding something that fits. For me, sometimes I'm cognizant of my mental repetition matching or at least fitting kind of within my breaths. So I feel like sometimes the breath and the mantra can compete in my mind as I'm focusing as objects. That might just be me, or maybe you're like me on that. So if you are like me, then fitting the mantra within a breath or sort of pacing it with the breath is one thing I can offer. And again, abide being one suggestion, far out being another. And I guess I'll stick with it. Vitamin E being my third. And just want to offer maybe perhaps a window or an opportunity that might come up. So if you've gotten focused a bit on your mantra, you're focusing one pointedly on that mantra, and just for a moment flash your concentration on your body, seeing if there's any positive feelings. Maybe there's a restful sensation or a positive sensation. And if there is, you can choose to focus on the body while continuing the mantra. And if there isn't, then no big deal. Continue to focus on the mantra. So again, the notion here is just briefly, let's check in with the body, seeing if there's any pleasant feel out or pleasant feel in. If there is, seeing if we can focus on that while continuing our repetition. And if there isn't, no big deal, just focus on our mantra. All right. So again, your choice. You could continue with the mantra if you feel like you've gotten into a real pleasing groove. But this is your opportunity to, with care, put the technique off to the side and coast, shifting into do nothing as our practice. So the focus range is whatever, and the instruction set is to let go of any intention to control our attention and just sit. Another way to think about the focus range is that it is autofocus. So focusing on whatever concentration wants to focus on. And I'll invite the bell to signal the end of our sit. Thank you for your practice. May the fruits of the practice be for the benefit of all beings. May our actions be for the benefit of all beings. Thank you again for that. I'd be curious if you would share your experiences in chat. If you was that positive? Was it neutral? Yes, I agree, Fred. I'm glad that Dre made it. I'm glad you're here. Best sit in a long time. Excellent, Gabrielle. Very restful. Okay, excellent. Yeah, and as Paul points out, if you like to sit, you could always tap the thumbs up. Okay, good session. All right. I'd be curious if anybody felt momentum having played with the mantra practice from Sunday. So if you were at Sunday sit or you did Sunday sit after, since it's recorded, if you felt like you had a little bit of momentum because you had 2 in a week, I'll let you share that on the side. Then I'm going to prep my little. I'm going to get plug for Brooke, who guides meditations. Yeah, plus the rug really did tie the room together. It did. Felt my muscles relax. Okay. Thank you, Saban. Okay, so helpful, Cheryl. Okay, thank you. So I shared Brooke's meditation link, brookemeditates.com. Brooke is guiding meditations on Thursday, so you could join tomorrow if you have time. And Brooke will be filling in for me a week from today on the 8th. So I think I've mentioned this before, but I'm an off ice official for the AHL team here in town, and so I have to in real time track all the players, and depending on what stat I'm working on, I either have to figure out who touched the puck so that I can score the goals and assists, or I have to figure out who was on the ice when a goal got scored or got scored a for or against. So it's like a super interesting concentration practice. And anyway, our meeting before the season starts is next Wednesday, and I can't miss it. So thankfully, Brooke is very graciously agreed to guide meditation. And so you'll see the thumbnail for next week will have Brooke on it, and then the reminders and everything will go out the same. So it'll be mostly the same usual, just with more awesome Brooke. So on the 8th. All right. Oh, enjoying the having sits with different teachers. Okay, thank you, Maureen. Yeah, the very nice to abide with you. Yes, thank you. Thank you for working that in, Lisa. Much appreciated. So yeah, I will miss being here. I really, I'm not gonna lie. I've gotten very, very fond of Wednesdays. So even so that when we're traveling for a vacation, I'm always trying to find a way to could I possibly do that? So, but yeah. Oh, and Maureen, thank you for mentioning the phrase for the mantra. I think sometimes I've picked clunky ones, and finding the right mantra, you can kind of understand why in a Vedic tradition or a transcendental meditation tradition, they have like a set number of them. So I think I mentioned my dad never told me his mantra. My dad practiced TM. He never told me, I think partly because he forgot it, but he didn't want to tell me he forgot it. So he just never told me when I asked. He would just skillfully change the topic. But I shouldn't say that. But anyway, I think he might have forgotten it. But you can see why they have a set list of the mantras, because then the rough edges are kind of worn off those, and then they've honestly the mantra set, if you think of it, or if you believe the lineage of it, which I'm not I'm not going to, I don't know enough to know, but I think a lot of the mantra phrases, the seed syllables, as I think they're referred to from the Vedic tradition, the Vedic being the umbrella for TM being one specific sort of version. They date back to like before the Yoga Sutras from Patanjali's and stuff. So super, super interesting. Um, and not everybody's cup of tea. So so if you're here and you're like, yeah, I didn't like that, totally fine. Thank you for trying and experimenting a bit. Um, I and the last thread I will pull on for us is I think mantra is an interesting thing to play with and then go to friendliness or loving kindness practice because I think the if you can work through the clunkiness of a syllable that's not quite right and things like that, it gives us a little more flexibility of picking phrases like the may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you live with ease. It gives us a little bit of flexibility to work with those phrases in a way that doesn't disrupt the continuity of our concentration and doesn't give us like a doesn't harsh our equanimity, maybe for lack of a better term. So yeah. All right, we're rapidly approaching the top of the hour. I want to make sure everyone can be off in the direction of whatever you need to be doing. Thank you for spending roughly 42 minutes with me. I really appreciate you taking that time out of your day. If you're in Australia, have a fantastic Thursday. Or if you're bending the space-time continuum in order to watch the recording of this, thank you. And we'll see folks on Sunday. Bye. Oh, and next week, log in for Brooke.